Oh my gosh, an iPad. That's so crazy. Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're going to be talking about Renaissance humanism. To get an understanding of what Renaissance humanism is, we first need to discover what it is. Renaissance humanism is a philosophical life stance which states that our goals as humans should be to be our best selves, contribute to the greater good of society, and achieve happiness. Humanism is typically secular, attempting to define a moral and ethical code for atheism. However, during the Renaissance, humanism wasn't nearly as secular as it is today. Renaissance humanism was more of a program to revive the cultured legacy, literal legacy, and moral philosophy of classical antiquity. A particularly common form of humanism was Christian humanism, which was a blend between Christian morality and humanist principles. This philosophy actually contributed to the Reformation of the Protestant Church.
Wow.
Screw you, man.
Some humanists include the famous Erasmus of Rotterdam and Thomas More. Their beliefs were similar in many ways. Desiderius Averroes, 1466 to 1536, was a progressive intellectual that became a leader of a European, particularly German group of humanists who formed a community of European network of about 500 scholars, which was famously referred to as the Republic of Leaders. For the first time in Europe, intellectuals were thinking of independently of their rich and powerful patrons and publishing their writing and networking. He influenced Thomas More, another prominent humanist.
More and Erasmus were at odds with the Catholic Church at the time. The Church did not agree with the humanist movement's ideals. Humanists such as Erasmus were at odds with the Church because he called for reformations. In the Church he saw corruption, authoritarianism, and what he thought were many ignorant and unchristian-like practices taking hold. He claimed the Church's crave for power was unchristlike. Erasmus believed many of their practices were not spiritual.
That was a perfect segue. Okay. Even though More and Erasmus were at odds with some of the church practices at the time, what did they actually believe in? Well, for starters, Erasmus and Thomas More were both Christian humanists. Thomas More was specifically utopian. As Christians, their moral code was primarily based upon the Bible and typical Christian beliefs, but the emphasis on human value, individual responsibility, and achieving happiness.
The Renaissance was an age where politics and religion blurred, so how does humanism fit in the politics of this time? Humanism affected politics because not everyone had the same beliefs, so everyone had different points of view of what is being their best selves. So people like the Pope and other leaders wouldn't agree in which is the best way to make society better, or the people would have different beliefs and they wouldn't agree with the leaders, so they wouldn't want to rebel against them to get what they thought was the best. So I think humanism affected the Renaissance politics in a negative way because it would cause conflict between the people.
In 1956, Nikita Khrushchev gave a speech that promoted socialist humanism, which was humanist because it places once again real men and women at the center of socialist theory and aspiration, and socialist because it reaffirms the revolutionary perspectives of communism, faith in real men and women. The movement, founded on the early Karl Marx, attracted wide support. In 1964, Louis Althusser took the couplet to task, associating the term socialist with science and humanism with ideology by singling out what he called Marx's break with, quote, every theory that based history or politics on an essence of man, end quote. Althusser argued that Marx's structural account of social relations gave rise to theoretical anti-humanism, which, however, did not rule out ethical commitments. Despite the many valid criticisms, Althusser's work was the primary source of what came to be known as structuralist Marxism and rendered humanist agendas on the left suspect.
The revival of classical learning inspired the philosophy of Renaissance humanism, a key element that helped to shape the intellectual and artistic development of a period. While naturalism had more influence on form in Italian Renaissance art, humanism had more influence on its subject matter.
Action.
All right. So, we know humanism is in fact around today, but how many members are there? The secular American Humanist Association, or SAHA, was founded in 1941. Today it boasts over 20,000 members, today with atheists and secularists alike. Some founding members and some famous members are Richard Dawkins, Salman Rushdie, Bill Nye, Nikola Tesla, and Frank Zappa. That's it.
I like Bill Nye dropped in there.
Yeah.
Start over.
The most important humanist ethic is that humans deserve respect. Every human should be treated with respect and allowed to have dignity. If all people act with respect for others, then people will live in peace and trust. Also, another important humanist ethic is that people should all be able to decide how they want to live their lives. The humanist belief is that if people think hard about what is right and what is wrong, they will know the difference and make the right decision. Thinking about a problem is called reasoning.
The people should choose what to believe by using reason.
Start over. Now.
Humanists believe that people should choose what to believe by using reason. The humanist ethic is that people should not follow any particular religion or philosophy or political belief without first testing it with their own reasoning. Humanists want to see all humans be as good as they can be. They also want people to be able to achieve the things that they want to do. Humanists decide what choices are good by whether those choices will help make human life better. Whether there is a problem with our world or a society, humanists think that it's important to use reason to help fix that problem. I'm Caroline, by the way.
Hey guys, I'm Caroline. I'm going to talk to you guys about humanism. Humanism is actually still around today. It is in many different ways. Today, humanists don't believe in God like they did during the Renaissance. Today, humanists believe that the abilities of humans are not given by God. They believe in science and logical